The Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct has come and gone, bringing a slew of new details along for the ride. While we could go in depth about every possible aspect, we thought it would be best to hone in on the bigger changes, such as the interface and menus, to see what they bring to the overall New Horizons package. So let's rev up the old analysis machine to see what secrets it can find. And let's begin with an aspect that isn't entirely foreign to us: crafting. DIY recipes that come in the form of special cards is how you will earn the ability to craft new items. There are 3 specific ways you can earn DIY recipes. You can purchase them from the Resident Services shop at a price of 300 bells for one, or 480 for a couple, or you can receive them from villagers, or as rewards through the Nook Miles program, but more on that later. We already covered the crafting menu extensively in the initial analysis, but there are some finer details to point out now. In addition to the 4 tools we already knew, we can see a craftable ocarina made completely out of wood, wooden stakes, and the craftable simple DIY workbench so you can craft outside of the Resident Services building. To craft the simple DIY workbench, you will need 5 hardwood as well as 1 iron nugget. Pretty low requirements, all things considered. Something that was newly showcased is that you can also customize your items within the Resident Services building, though this feature isn't available from the beginning. At some point during the game, you will take a crash course, which then allows you to modify objects with new colors and apply custom patterns. It seems the entire process requires a set amount of whatever this is. An ink cartridge, perhaps? In any case, you do need a decent amount of them, so they better appear frequently. Beyond crafting, you'll also be able to craft letters to your friends with the in-game messaging feature. To send a message, you will have to pay up to 200 bells at the airport, choose the recipient and the card, write your message, and potentially add a gift. There seem to be quite a few cards to choose from, such as Bunny Day, Dandelion, Blue Sky, Birthday Cake, and Balloons, with some even being tied to the seasons, meaning they are only available for a limited time. In addition, we have designs like this one with a variety of flowers, blossoms flying in the wind, the standard postal one from the previous games, a 4-leaf clover pattern, one littered with plasters and bandages, and finally one filled with stars. Speaking of communication, we learned a bit more about how the Nook Phone works. This virtual phone offers a variety of features that are accessible with the touch of a virtual button, like the Nook Mileage program and the camera. While we saw how many of the apps function before, there are a few icons worth highlighting, including the Nook Shopping Network that allows you to purchase items on the go, the Critterpedia where you research the fish and bugs you've caught, and the Island Designer function which allows you to make roads and more. Finally, we have the rescue service, as marked by the helicopter icon that allows you to be rescued when you're completely lost and returns you to a safe space that you select from the map. But did you catch that the helicopter icon is a bit unusual, with a hard hat and whiskers? Yep, it's modeled after Mr. Rossetti, and you can even hear his classic music throughout this segment of the Direct. Although we knew of it before, the Direct gave us a lot more information about how Nook Miles and the Nook Miles app work. You'll earn Nook Miles through the Nook Mileage Rewards program found within the Nook Phone application. Within the application, you will find a variety of tasks that you can complete, which are similar to the Meow coupons in the Welcome Amiibo update, but far more expansive. The selection showcased includes Name Miles, Angle for Perfection, where you're encouraged to initially capture 10 fish, Island Togetherness, which sees you talking to villagers, You've Got the Bug, where catching 10 bugs is your first priority, Have a Nice DIY, and DIY Tools. For reaching the initial fish goal, you will receive 300 Nook Miles, as well as a stamp which also shows the date you completed the goal. Next to the Nook Miles, you will get titles that you can highlight on your profile within the Passport application. Nook Miles can be used to pay back the Getaway package. As we see in the Direct footage, Tom Nook would like 5,000 miles up front, which was confirmed by Eurogamer as the amount required. Eventually though, the Nook Miles can be used in exchange for items at the Nook Shop terminal that fall into 2 categories. First are novelty items such as the Nook Ink Aloha shirt, which is 600 miles, the Nook Ink tee for 600, the Nook Ink blouson for 800, the Nook Ink bandana for 500, the Nook Ink cap for 500, the Nook Ink eye mask for 400, the Nook Ink socks for 400, the Nook Ink slippers for 400, and the Nook Ink knapsack for 800. Then there are the special helpful items which up the ante of what can be earned in-game. The most important one is the Nook Miles ticket. For 2,000 miles, players can explore different islands, raid them for DIY objects, and even meet new villagers along the way. It is a great way to speed up certain processes, as the resources on your personal island are limited to a certain extent. The menu is also how you unlock the pro version of the custom design editor, which requires 800 miles. This gives you the ability to make the creations even further to your liking, such as both sides of a shirt, including the sleeves. There are also special DIY cards you can earn with the Nook Miles. The game showcases 5 options, but doesn't elaborate on any of them. First up is the tool ring. It's essential for 800 miles, which is likely how you will obtain the instantly accessible tool menu shown elsewhere in the Direct. It allows you to pop up a radial menu to quickly select one of several items that you hold, including all the regular tools, along with some novelty items like this Japanese fan. Then we also have the pocket organization guide for 5,000 miles, which ensures that you can carry even more items. This was actually showcased on the website, with you now having 4 rows to take along items with you. Normally, you only get 2 rows for objects. The last 3 cards seem to unlock new hairstyles and colors, including top 8 pop hairstyles for 2,400 miles, top 8 cool hairstyles for 2,400 miles, and top 8 stylish hair colors for 3,000 miles. So that covers it for all the apps we can see, but there's at least one we've seen before that isn't shown here, the local multiplayer app, as shown in the September overview. And that's likely because there are so many apps, it seems to have been pushed to the second page, as marked by these dots at the bottom of the screen. So if the developers fill that second screen too, that could mean we're looking at as many as 18 apps total. But what they will end up being, we have no idea. Moving on, the Able Sisters shop has seen a complete makeover, and it looks jaw-droppingly beautiful and now features a display window at the front of the shop. Inside, you can use a new menu within the dressing room to easily try out the latest clothing items and see if you want to purchase them. In the English footage, it starts on the dresses menu where we see a hakama with a crest for 4,800 bells. In addition, there are various pineapple dresses that are 1,800 bells each. Next up, the footage shows the headwear screen where even more items await us. This includes a kiwi hat for 770 bells, different colored straw boater hats for 700 bells, hair buns at 1,400 bells, and insect-looking hoods for 1,760 bells. In the Japanese footage, the selection is somewhat different. For one, there are a lot more dresses at hand. We see frilly ones for 2,800 bells, builder outfits for 2,000, and striped long shirts with pockets for 1,600. When it comes to hats, there are 2 new ones at hand, a skull helmet for 1,400 bells, as well as a Japanese thief mask at 490 bells. Speaking of shopping, Kix the Skunk is back as well, except this time the problem is that it seems he doesn't have a store anymore. Instead, he is now a special character that randomly appears on a working day to sell his wares. So will we get a store later on? Time will tell, but he offers a lot more items than before. The lad brings along shoes, socks, and yes, backpacks. The shoes we see in both the Japanese and English footage are 2 types of soccer cleats at 1,200 bells, Dutch clogs for 1,300, some special boots for 3,150 bells, low ground loafers for 1,260 bells, and gesture shoes at 1,900 bells. The socks come in 3 variations as well, ranging between 600 and 980 bells. Of course, we see smaller purses and full-grown backpacks. Sadly, we don't get to see the pricing on the latter ones, but the smallest starts at 840 bells. When it comes to putting your dream house together, Animal Crossing New Horizons makes it easier than ever with an interface more reminiscent of Happy Home Designer. The game now allows you to instantly access your inventory and all the furniture you own. You can go through a gigantic list, choose per section, and sort all available options to your liking. By choosing furniture, it will be directly dropped into the environment, such as this lovely couch, where you can then place it wherever you want without having to tediously drag it around. Some of the other furniture includes a tree stump, cabinets, a toy horse, a blender, a toaster, a wooden lounge seat, and so much more. When it comes to the great outdoors, there's a lot of things for you to do. At the construction consultation counter, players can expand their town with bridges, staircases, and who knows what else. There isn't much in terms of new information here, as it seems to work exactly like in New Leaf. You decide the location of the project, pay money to a gyroid, and see your dreams come to fruition. The bridge options really are some of the best in the series, with log, suspension, stone, wooden, brick, iron, Red Zen, and Zen all being offered. Likewise, you have a lot more control over ramps and staircases, which is unprecedented for an Animal Crossing game. With natural, blue plank and white plank possibilities, your ramps will easily fit into the natural habitat. If you want to be fancy, however, staircases are the way to go. The materials available are log, stone, brick, blue steel, and red steel. The final menu is for the Photopia Building. On this special island, players can create little dioramas with all of their favorite characters. You will place villagers in the environment, give them outfits, and start snapping pictures. It seems that you can freely pick from all the furniture you own and scan an amiibo for the specific characters you need. You can set effects like sharp and enable various photo modes like cinema. In addition, you can zoom in, move the camera freely, and even focus on specific characters. It's a fun way to get creative and use the best function from Happy Home Designer in a way that is more profound. Alright, we're just about done here, but there are a few final details that we wanted to point out. First, there is another tool similar to the item wheel, the Magic Wand, which you hear about from Celeste the Owl. She says it seems there's a magic wand that, if you make a wish and give it a wave, lets you become a whole new you. One sweep with the wand lets you pull up 8 different outfit options, the same amount as the other circle. The outfits included are a hero outfit, a kimono, a stylish dress, and more. As we speculated before, Wisp seems to have reverted to his old GameCube and DS ways. Instead of summoning amiibo characters as a new leaf, he now disappears and turns into 5 spirits that you have to collect. Afterwards, you get a special reward. In both games, he would instantly remove all the weeds or grant you a unique item. That is more than likely to return. The airport has a completely different color from what we've seen before. Could this mean that the color is dependent on the town, or that you will have some control over it? That certainly wouldn't be a surprise to us. Early on, we see a fish that you can actually visibly see through the water rather than being a silhouette. Neat! Perhaps that indicates they're closer to the surface? At one point, we see the player jumping across a narrow river, meaning you won't always have to use the vaulting pole to get across. Finally, we see a little ornament falling off a Christmas tree. Under normal circumstances, you could just get an item in the form of a green leaf, but here it is a completely different story. Could this represent a new special event that you partake in? And that is all we have for you in the Nintendo Direct footage of Animal Crossing New Horizons. If we missed anything from the menus, please let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to Game Explained for more on Animal Crossing and other things gaming.